and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I thought I would tier rank every single book that I read in 2024 and I read 77 books, so this might take me a little while, but let's get on with it. So the ranks that I have are Changed My Brain Chemistry, Love of My Life, Middle of the Road, Kind of Bored Me, and What the Fuck Did I Read? So let's get started. So the first book on this list is Consider Me by Becca Mack, and this is going in Middle of the Road. I kind of enjoyed this book, but there was just something about it that I didn't really gel with. Maybe it was the writing, I think it was a bit true with the pacing and stuff, but you know, I just wasn't the biggest fan of this book, but I still did enjoy it when I was reading it, so it's a middle of the road kind of book. Up next we have Reckless by Elsie Silver. This one is going in Love of My Life. I love the Chestnut Springs series. I absolutely adored it when I read it, and I just kind of had the best time with it. So yeah, I just honestly, I loved it so much. Up next we have Powerless by Elsie Silver. This is also going in Love of My Life. Enough said, I just really loved it. It was really good and I just had like the best time with it. I just love Elsie Silver's writing, and honestly it's my favourite cowboy romance series. I've only read 2 cowboy romances, but that is definitely my favourite. Okay, up next we have Skyshade by Alex Astor. This one is going in Kind of Bored Me. I was a bit let down by Skyshade, if I'm being completely honest. I was so excited for this book after I'd read Lightlark and Nightbane earlier in the year, but it honestly kind of annoyed me because it kind of felt like a big filler book, and it really let me down considering how anticipated of a release it was for me. Okay, up next we have Crown of Midnight by Sarah J Maas. This is going in Love of My Life. I love the Throne of Glass series so freaking much. I love the characters, I love the world, and honestly I just love everything about it. And the plot twist at the end of that book is phenomenal. Okay, next. This is the first one going in Changed My Brain Chemistry. That is Daydream by Hannah Grace. Something about Henry Turner. That man. I'm just low-key obsessed. I love him so much. That is my favourite book in the Maple Hills trilogy, and there's just something about him and like his relationship with Hallie and how he acts and everything. I'm in love with him. I'm just so in love with him. Okay, next on our list is Throne of Glass. This is going in Love of My Life. Honestly, I think the entire Throne of Glass series will probably go in Love of My Life, apart from a couple of them. I haven't obviously finished the series, but there is a couple of them in the series that are ones that changed my brain chemistry. But Crown of Midnight and Throne of Glass are both just Loves of My Life because I love that series with my entire being. Heartless, probably, if it would move, there we go, probably in Love of My Life. Just something about it. I love that book. I just love this whole series. I just think it's so fun and the characters are just so great, and I just Okay, up next is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is going to go into Middle of the Road. I did enjoy this book. I gave it a 4.25, but it's my least favourite in the Maple Hills trilogy. It's a good book, but it's not anything I would like rave about like I would with A Daydream and also Icebreaker, which is the next one, and that one's going in Love of My Life. I adored Icebreaker. I think it was so fun. I loved the characters. It was such a 5-star read for me, and I'm kind of mad at myself that I put it off for so long. But with Wildfire, it just didn't have the same feel that Icebreaker and Daydream did. But Daydream is definitely still like my favourite, and that is why it went in Changed My Brain Chemistry. Up next, we have Redeeming Six by Chloe Walsh. This is going in Changed My Brain Chemistry. The whole Boys of Tommen series is just absolutely incredible. I love it so, so much. I love the characters and the world they have and just their relationships with each other and everything about it. And Redeeming Six is just so sad but so amazing, and I can't wait to read the next book in the series, which is Taming Seven. And I'm hoping to read that this month in January. It's just I loved it. I loved Redeeming Six. Next, we have The Chase by Al Kennedy. This can go into love of my life. I really, really, really loved this book. I loved Summer and Fitzy so much. They're one of my favourite couples in the Briar U universe. There's something about them is so great, and yeah, I really loved it, and I love them as characters. The next one is called Four Stepbrothers and I. That can just go in what the fuck did I read? I read it like in the middle of the night, I think. It was a random like romance that I found through Instagram Reels. That can just sit in what the fuck did I read, and that's kind of self-explanatory. Next, we have Orion Regret. This was like a really, really tiny novella, and that can go in kind of bored me. Honestly, the Ryan series has been kind of dragged out by the author as kind of just like a money grab. I love the like main books and I love a couple of the novellas, but honestly at this point it's just the same thing over and over again, and hopefully she's stopped now because I haven't heard her release of any more of the books in that series, so I hope she doesn't release any more novellas just because I think it's getting to that point. Okay, up next we have, I think it's Broken Limits. This is like the third book in a series that I read. This can go in what the fuck did I read? Honestly, all the books in that series can. When I find the other ones, they can just go in there. This was another random spicy romance that I found through, I think it was either TikTok or Instagram Reels. And yeah, I just read it randomly when I couldn't sleep because I wanted just something that I didn't have to think about when I read it. Okay. Up next, we have Throttled by Lauren Asher. This can go in middle of the road. I did enjoy this book, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking to me. It wasn't like an all-time favourite. I enjoyed the book when I read it, but thinking back on it now, I can't really remember anything about it. I still want to read the rest of the series because I did have a fun time when I read it, but I just can't remember anything now because it has been quite a while since I read the book. Okay, so book number, don't even actually know what book number this is, I don't know why I tried to say book number. Next book is The Courtship of Mr. Lion. This is going in what the fuck did I read? I read this for a uni thing. I read it for a uni assignment, and I kind of am just kind of like, this is the only thing I gave a 1 star. In 2024, I never give 1 stars to anything, but this one deserved a 1 star. I really did not like it. It bored me, and I was like, can this please be over? It was just made no sense, and I just had a crap time. Okay, up next we have Bride by Ellie Hazelwood. This is the first and last Ellie Hazelwood book I will read. This is going in kind of bored me. I did not like this book at all, and I may get some hate because if I say this, but I don't like Ellie Hazelwood's writing. I really did not enjoy that book, and I did not enjoy anything about it. I did not like the characters. I felt like the characters were so bland. They were just so annoying, and there was no development with them. Yeah, I had a crap time. Maybe this was a bad book to read as my first Ellie Hazelwood, but I also just didn't like her writing style at all. So yeah, that is a book that is never being read again. Just, no, it's gone. I sold it. And I sold the rest of my Ellie Hazelwood books just because I really did not like her writing style or anything. So I'm not gonna read anymore. Okay, next book is The Risk by Al Kennedy. This one can go in middle of the road. I enjoyed it when I read it, had a fun time, but I don't really remember what I read, if I'm being completely honest. I still had a fun time with it and I still enjoyed it, but it's not my favourite Al Kennedy book. Honestly, at this point in time, my favourite Al Kennedy book is probably The Score. which will be showing up in this video at some point. So yeah, up next we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Changed my brain chemistry. I'm not going to say anything else. You all know my opinions on this book. I love it so freaking much. I love this and Powerful more than anything. And when Powerful comes up, that is going straight into Change My Brain Chemistry. I'm not going to go on because I've spoken about this series enough times. I love it. I love it. Up next, we have Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is going in Change My Brain Chemistry. This is my favourite book in the Chestnut Springs series. Just something about Bo and Bailey. I love them so much. My ranking for the Chestnut Springs series literally goes in the opposite direction. So my favourite is Hopeless and my least favourite is Flawless. Probably controversial opinion, but oh well. But I love Bo and Bailey and I loved their story and it was just amazing. Okay, up next we have Saving Six, which is the third book in the Boys of Tommen. This is going in Love of My Life. I honestly really enjoyed this book. I loved seeing more about Joey and Aoife and learning their backstory, and I just loved their characters and everything about them, but it didn't change my brain chemistry like Redeeming Six did, or the next book on this list, which is Keeping 13. This is going in Change My Brain Chemistry. This was my top book of 2024. Just something about Shannon and Johnny. I love them with my entire being. They are incredible and amazing, and the Shannon and Johnny. I can't say anything else, but I love them so much, and I love that book so much, and I can't wait to reread the series this year because I will be rereading it, and no one can stop me. Obviously, I'm going to read Taming 7 first before I reread Binding and Keeping, but I want to reread them so I can highlight and annotate them because I didn't my first read through, and now I want to. Okay, next we have Lost and Lassoed. This is going in Middle of the Road. I really enjoyed this book, and it was a really fun time when I read it, but it's not my favourite and it isn't a love of my life, but it's still really fun and it's still a really fun book. Oh my god, The Right Move. Changed my brain chemistry. I have talked about the Windy City series enough times for people to know my love for that series. Ryan Shea, the man that you are. I may be a lesbian, but I would go straight for you, boo. If I had a Ryan Shea in my life, maybe I'd consider dating men. But yeah, no. I love him. I love him so much. And I love that book so much. Just Indy and Ryan. My favourite book in the Throne of Glass series so far, The Assassin's Blade. This is going straight in Changed My Brain Chemistry. I loved this book. It automatically made me fall in love with the Throne of Glass series. I read this one first, and my personal recommended reading order for anyone if they want to read the Throne of Glass series is to read The Assassin's Blade first. But if you want to go a different route, that's fine. Everyone has their different reading preferences. I just personally believe that reading The Assassin's Blade first was the best option for me anyway. But I know I loved it. It made me fall in love with the series from that book, and I just had the best time. I think if I'd read Throne of Glass first, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. Okay, Heartstopper. Now, this may shock some people, but all of the Heartstopper books are going in Love of My Life. I do really, really adore this series. It's one of my all-time favourites, and it's my big comfort series. I do a reread every single year. But it hasn't changed my brain chemistry. It's just like a big comfort for me. There's something about the series that makes me smile, and just I love the characters and everything about them. So yeah, they are going in Love of My Life. Okay, next we have Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is going in Middle of the Road. This is my least favourite book in the Chestnut Springs series, like I said. I just didn't completely love this one. It just wasn't my favourite, but like the series just got better from there. But yeah, no, Flawless was just incredible. I absolutely loved it. But it wasn't like a top tier book. It was really good, but not my favourite. So yeah. Okay, next we have If You Dare, and this is going in what the fuck did I read? I do not really remember anything about this book. All I know is I gave it a 2-star, and I'm just like, why did I read this book, if I'm being completely honest? I was like, what? But yeah, no, that is the next one. I can't say much about it because I generally don't remember anything about it. All I know is that I was just creeped out after I finished reading it. Okay, up next we have A Court of Mist and Fury. This is going in Love of My Life. I love the ACOTAR series, and that's what really got me on my fantasy journey last year. I read way more fantasy books last year than I have in any other year. I absolutely love the ACOTAR series, and I just love them, like, with my entire being. And yeah, but it's Love of My Life, and I absolutely love it. 2 of the books in that series is going in Change My Brain Chemistry, but they have not come up yet. Up next we have Melt for Us. This can go in what the fuck did I read? Not because it was bad. I just don't remember a single thing about it. I think I was just looking for a random spicy little romance to read, and I picked that one. Because why not? Scream for Us is in here somewhere, and that will be going also in What the Fuck Did I Read? Up next, we have The Deal by Al Kennedy. This one can go in... It's a mix of Middle of the Road and Love of My Life, but I think it's going to have to go in Middle of the Road. My ranking of the off-campus series has kind of changed around as time has gone on. It used to be very different to what it is now, but The Deal is my 3rd favourite in the off-campus series. My top 2 are The Score and The Mistake. But yeah, no. Something I really did enjoy The Deal, but it isn't my favourite in the series, but it is a like top book because it is so good, and I just love it so much, and I do love Hannah and Garrett. Okay, up next we have The Score, which is going straight into Change My Brain Chemistry. I love that book so much, which is really funny to me because when I was reading it, I was hating on it so badly. It took me so long to read it, and that is because I did not like Dean when I first started the book. He pissed me off, but now I kind of love him. You can judge me, okay? I was wrong, okay? That book is amazing. It's my favourite in the off-campus series, and I just need to be told to shut up because yeah, I know. I've been wrong before, okay. Okay, up next we have Lightlark by Alex Aster. This is going in Middle of the Road. I really, really enjoyed this book. It was a very good start to a fantasy, like romantasy series. I liked the world set up. It wasn't too like in your face and like just shoved a bunch of information in your face. It was fun. I loved the characters. You know how much I love that series, and I did genuinely really, really enjoy it, but it's not like a Love of My Life book. Next, we have The Book of Asriel. This is going in Middle of the Road as well. I really enjoyed this when I read this, and I do want to read the rest of the series because I genuinely I had quite a fun time when I was reading it. It was a bit of a slow start, but once I got into the book, I genuinely had a good time, and it's like a 4-star read for me, and I actually had fun, and I do want to read the rest of the series because I thought it was quite an enjoyable read. Okay, I think we're around about like halfway through all the books I read. Okay, up next is Heir of Fire. This one is going in Love of My Life. I love this book. I honestly loved getting to see more of the world that Throne of Glass is set in. I loved seeing Selena learn more about herself, and it was just honestly such a good book, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. But like I said, there's only 2 in Throne of Glass that have changed my brain chemistry so far. Up next is Cross the Line, and this is going in Kind of Bored Me. This book just... I really did not have that best of a time when I was reading it. I didn't really like the characters that much. The plot kind of bored me and it felt very anticlimactic. And yeah, no, just, it wasn't the greatest, if I'm being completely honest. Okay, next we have, I think this is, yeah, Is Love Had a Price? I had to lean down to look at it because I'm a bit blind, okay, and my iPad's there. So we have If Love Had a Price. This is going in middle of the road. I actually quite enjoyed this one. This is my favourite book in the If Love series. The If Love series definitely isn't a favourite of mine. It's a good series, don't get me wrong, but it's not like a top tier book series for me. But you do have to keep in mind when you read that it is Anna Huang's debut series, so it isn't going to be as good as other ones that she's written, like for example the Twisted series, which I've also read by her, and I love basically almost all the books in the Twisted series. My least favourites are Twisted Love and Twisted Lies. I love Twisted Games and Twisted Hate though, because those two are mwah, perfection. Josh and Jules are my favourite couple. The Twisted Hate is my favourite in that series, but yeah, no, If Love Had a Price is a good book and it was my favourite in the If Love series, and it's the one I gave the highest rating to. Next we have Scream for Us. This is also going in What the Fuck Did I Read? I don't remember it. And then same with Blurred Limits, I think this one is. This was another one of the ones that I was just kind of like, wait, what am I reading right now? I read like a 3-book series in an evening when I couldn't sleep and I just wanted something I didn't have to think about, and that was spicy, and that series gave it to me. Okay, Fourth Wing. Straight in, changed my brain chemistry. I love the Imperium series so much and I cannot wait for book 3 in that series to come out. It comes out in January and I cannot wait to read it. Well, it comes out this month because it is January. It feels weird that it's a new year now. But no, I reread Fourth Wing at the end of the year and I absolutely loved it, and I loved being back in that world with those characters. I'm not going to say much about the next one. It's just I think the 3rd or 4th Heartstopper. It can just go in Love of My Life. Everyone knows my love for that series. Daisy Jones and the Six is going in middle of the road. I did really love this when I was reading it, but if I'm being completely honest, I haven't really thought about the book since I read it. The only time I think about it is when I see the cover or if I'm talking to someone about it. But yeah, so that one is going in middle of the road because it was a good book. I had a good time. I gave it a 5 stars, but I haven't really thought about it since I read it. Okay, next we have Play Along by Liz Tom Ford. This is going straight into Change My Brain Chemistry. I love it. I love it so much. It's just so amazing. I just love that entire series so much. It just, everything about it. Moving on. Next one, we have Cemetery Boys. Oh my god, this one is going in What the Fuck Did I Read? Jesus Christ. This book took me 9 months to read and I hated every second of it. And the only reason it gets a 2.75 is because of the ending. The ending was good, and I told myself after I finished it I wasn't going to read the sequel, but the sequel does come out this year, and honestly I am low-key tempted to buy it and read it just to see if it was as bad as the first one. That is probably bad of me, but oh well. We move on. Okay, next we have The Mistake by Al Kennedy. This one is also going in Change My Brain Chemistry. The Score and The Mistake are my 2 favourites in the Off-Campus series. The Score because of the story, I just love it, and The Mistake because of the couple. Logan and Grace are just my favourite couple in the Off-Campus universe. Well, so far, I haven't finished the universe, so I may change my mind with the next couple of couples in the last 2 books in the Barry U books, but at the moment, that is my favourite couple and I adore them, and that is why he's going in Change My Brain Chemistry, because there's just something about Logan. Okay, next, yeah, Blurred Limits. Nothing else to say. No, Brutal Limits, I mean. That's just going in What the Fuck Did I Read? Like with the other 2, I can't remember. Okay, next we have If We Were Perfect. This one can go in... kind of bored me. Honestly, like I said, the If Love series, not a top series for me. Not something I enjoyed that much, but it was still okay. It's not one of my least favourite in the series, but it just like isn't like a favourite. So yeah, that is going in. Kind of bored me because honestly I don't even really remember anything that happened in that book. I can't really remember anything that happened in any of the books in that series. I know the basic plot, but that's about it. Okay, next we have 1,000 Boy Kisses. This is going to go in Love of My Life. This book is so good and it's so heartbreaking. Genuinely, it's so sad, but it's so good, and I really loved it. So yeah, that is going in Love of My Life because it's just so good. Okay, next we have A Court of Frost and Starlight. This one is going to go into Middle of the Road, which may shock some people because it's one of the books in the ACOTAR series, but it's my least favourite. I gave it a 3.5. Honestly, it wasn't anything miraculous. That one is basically the like Christmas episode in a TV show. It's the Christmas episode in between Wings and Ruin and Silver Flames. It's just kind of there. It wasn't really needed, but it kind of was because the ending of it kind of gives you a bridge to Silver Flames. But yeah, no. That one is a middle of the road book and it's my least favourite in the series. Okay, next we have Mile High. This one is going into Love of My Life. This is my least favourite in the Windy City series. I still love it though. I still gave it a 5-star and I still adore the characters and everything about them. But it's my least favourite in the series, and when I rank the series, my like favourite to least favourite, The Right Move and Caught Up are tied for first place, and it goes Play Along and then Mile High. It's still a really good book and I still really love it, but yeah, no, it's a Love of My Life, but it's not a Change My Brain Chemistry kind of book. Then we have Heartstopper, same as the other ones, Love of My Life. Up next we have Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. We all know this one is going straight into Changed My Brain Chemistry. Something About Bo and Win. I love this book so goddamn much. I've only got one friend who's read this, my friend Cam. They read this book, and when they put it in the server, I was like, oh my god, you've read this book, we need to talk about it right now. And we've talked about it a few times, and honestly, Bo and Win, we both love Bo so much. We just love their story. We love that story so much. It was a great time. And I just love the banter in that book. I think that is the best banter I have read in a romance book. And I just love everything about it, and I really want to reread it, if I'm being completely honest, because I love it, but I will never have the experience of rereading that book ever again for the first time. So, okay, next is Powerful. This is going straight into Change My Brain Chemistry. Oh my god, if it will move, there we go. With Powerless, we all know, I'm not going to go on, we all know how I feel about that book and that series because I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. Oh my god, I can't wait to read Reckless, if I'm being completely honest, because okay, the end is in sight. We have just a few more books. Next, we have Nightbane by Alex Aster. This is the second book in the Lightlock series, and this one is going in Love of My Life. Honestly, I really love this book. This is my favourite book in the series so far. There is 2 more books coming out in the series. I am a little bit nervous about them, especially after reading Skyshade. But I still really love Nightbane. It's my favourite in the series so far, and I just love the characters and I love that story and getting to see Isla's power grow and everything, and it's so good. It's so good. Okay, next we have A Court of Thorns and Roses. This one is going in Love of My Life. I do love this book. I love it. It's not a 5-star. The 5 stars in the series for me are the second, third and fourth book. This one is a 4-star, but it got me started on the series and I love it so much. And it's the reason why I love fantasy so much now. So yes, that is a Love of My Life book because I just adore it so much. Next one, I'm not explaining myself. It's just going straight into what the fuck did I read. I'm not even reading out the title. I'm reading out the title. It's called Four Daddies and I. Don't judge me, okay? It was a late night read like the other ones. I should not be trusted around Kindle Unlimited at late at night, okay? Okay, next is A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is going in Changed My Brain Chemistry. And I can see Silver Flame, so I'm just going to add that one in now as well and talk about these at the same time. These are my two favourite books in the ACOTAR series. Wings and Ruin for the plot and the storyline. I love the battle and everything that happens in that book, and I just love all the action and things like that. But Silver Flames, because of the couple. The couple in Silver Flames are my favourite, but the plot of Wings and Ruin is my favourite. So they are both going in Change My Brain Chemistry just because of how much I adore them and I love them. Two books like with every part of my soul. And I can't wait for the next book in the ACOTAR series to come out whenever the fuck it does. Iron Flame is going straight into Change My Brain Chemistry. I've spoken about the Imperium series. I cannot wait for book 3, like I said. And it's so good. I love it. I love it. Okay, next we have The Way I Used to Be. This one is going in middle of the road. Now, I really, really enjoyed this book, and it is a really good book. Check your trigger warnings if you do want to read it, because it does cover some very dark topics. But it's not a love of my life book. I really enjoyed it when I read it, and I am really looking forward to reading the sequel. But it's not a love of my life kind of book. That's why it is in middle of the road, because I had a great time. Well, I didn't have a great time. It's a sad book. But I enjoyed the book when I read it. But it's like, I never know how to describe sad books. Because like, I obviously didn't have a good time when I was reading it because I was crying and I was sad about it. But I also can't be like, this book destroyed me, that's why I love it. Actually, yes I can, because we're readers and reader girlies all understand this shit. But you know, that is going in middle of the road because I did really, really enjoy it when I read it, but it's not a love of my life kind of book. Okay, next we obviously Heartstopper again. Just going straight into love of my life. We all know why. Okay, the next we have is The Goal. This is going into middle of the road. When I first read this, I absolutely adored it. Now looking back on it, it's my least favourite in the series. I did really enjoy it still, and it is still a 5-star read for me, but it's not as amazing as I thought it was when I first read it, and I think that's just because I thought about it more, and I need to stop being so hasty with my ratings, because when I finish a book I'm always automatically like, oh my god, 5-star, even if I'm like not truly loving it, even though I'm thinking it's like a 5-star in my head. So yeah, that's something I need to work on this year, my rating system. Okay, next we have Talking as Fast as I Can. This one is going to go into middle of the road. I really, really enjoyed this. This was the first book that I read in 2024. I loved getting to know more about Gilmore Girls and the actress who played Lorelai. Anyone who knows me knows my obsession with Gilmore Girls. It's one of my favourite TV shows. And I really enjoyed reading that and like learning more about her life and everything like that. But it's not a love of my life kind of book. It's a middle of the road, really enjoyable book. And if you like Gilmore Girls, I would recommend reading this. Next is Queen of Shadows. This is going in Change My Brain Chemistry. I love this so much. Assassin's Blade and Queen of Shadows are my two favourite in the series so far. If you asked me to describe anything that happened in those books, I could not tell you, because even though I love them and I know I love them, I have really bad memory, okay? And fantasy books have a lot in them. I just know my favourite parts of those books. But yes, those are Queen of Shadows and the Assassin's Blade are both Change My Brain Chemistry books. Okay, next we have Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. This one is going in Love of My Life. I loved this book when I read it. I love Heartbones. I just loved the writing, and I loved the story between the characters and the romance. I just thought it was really, really good, and it's just an incredible time. Well, it's not an incredible time, it's a sad book, but you know what I mean. I don't know how to describe sad books, okay? Okay, we just have a handful of books left. Next, we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This was a reread. Me and a friend were planning to do a book club, but then it never happened. And this was supposed to be the first book, but then nothing ever happened with it. I reread it at the start of the year, listened to the audiobook. It's a middle of the road book. It's one of my least favourites in the Twisted series. Not much to say about it. Next we have Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. This is going straight into Change My Brain Chemistry. I love Say You Swear so much. This was a reread for me. I originally read it in 2023, but I reread it this year because I highlighted and annotated it for Geordie for her birthday, because it's her favourite book, and I wanted to just like, it's a book we both have in common, and it's the first book that I read that she recommended to me, and I had the best time with it. So yeah, that is why I reread it this year and highlighted and annotated it, and I want to reread it again so I can highlight and annotate my own copy. Okay, next we have Reminders of Him. This is another one that's going in Love of My Life. I absolutely adored this book. It was so good. It's honestly such an amazing book. I genuinely do really love Colleen Hoover's writing. I know a lot of people don't like Colleen Hoover. I don't care about the author. I just like her books. Okay, next we have Promise Me Not. This one is going to go into middle, kind of bored me. I was really let down by this book. I was so excited for it for so long, and honestly it really let me down. I expected a lot more from it. Like I was really excited for it, and then when I read it I was just kind of unhappy because it wasn't what I was expecting, and I think the characters deserved more than what they got with that book. Okay, I'm going to do the next two together because they're in the same series. We have Done and Dusted and Swift and Saddled. These are both going in Middle of the Road. Same with Lost and Lassoed. Really enjoyed the series. It's a fun time when I was reading it, but I don't really remember that much about it. But it was a good time, and I enjoyed the series and I enjoy the characters. Same with The 7 Year Slip. Middle of the Road. This is a good book and I enjoyed it when I was reading it, and I liked the characters, but it's not an all-time favourite. Would potentially consider rereading it, but it's not something that's at the top of my priority list. Okay, next we have Caught Up by Liz Tomford. This is going into Change My Brain Chemistry. Oh my god, just the Windy City series is so good. I love it so much. Okay, we're down to the last three. Binding 13. Oh gosh. Let's try that again. Oh my god. Binding 13. If it will let me grab it. There we go. Another one. Love of My Life. We know how I feel about the Boys of Tommen series. It's so good. I genuinely just really love it, and I love Binding 13 so much, and I'm so glad I actually read it. When I bought this, I didn't think I would actually read this series, but you know, that ended up happening. Okay, we're on the last two books. Not going to say anything about this one. It's Heartstopper. We all know it's going straight into Love of My Life. And then the final one on this list is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli. This one is going to go into Love of My Life. I genuinely really loved this book. I loved reading the world and the characters and everything about them. And yeah, I had a great time with it, and I can't wait for the sequel to come out in February. But that is the last book for this video. So that is my tier ranking for every book that I read in 2024. I forgot what year it was I read these. Yeah, that's every book I read in 2024. Obviously I had a lot of great reads, and then there was a couple at the bottom that just weren't the best. But yeah, no, I had fun doing this. It took me so freaking long to do. But that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you know when I upload. I upload every single Friday at 6 p.m. and tell me if you've read any of these books in the last year and if you enjoyed them as well. But yeah, no, that is it, and I will catch you guys next time.